Hi, this is Jamie Magridge coming to you from my craft table. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. These two particular pieces I just have sliding in there for right now because I was trying out adding more. But let's get started and I'll show you what we need. So what we need for the card is the Life is Grand stamp set. We're going to be using the Make-A-Wish and Enjoy Your Day, Happy Birthday on the inside. We're going to be using the Dear Doily bundle. We're going to be using this doily and this sprig. And we're going to be using the die to cut out the flower sprig. And this doily, just this piece, not the outside piece. Okay, so let's get started and see what else we're going to need. Alright, move these out of the way. Alright, we're going to need Tombow Mono. We're going to need some Stampin' Up markers. To color the sprig, I used the Melon Mambo and the Cherry Cobbler for the flower part. For the greenery, I used the Garden Green and the Pear Pizzazz. So those are the four to color these sprigs in. I have a couple additional blue ones to color the butterfly in with. And that is Balmy Blue, Bermuda Bay, and I think this is Night of Blueberry Bushel. Okay, so that's what we're going to need for those. For the stamping pad, we're going to be using the Lovely Lipstick and the Memento, and that's it. We need one of the butterflies cut out of the butterfly Botanical Butterfly Designer Series paper. And for the paper, we have a card base, a standard card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. We have a piece of the Lovely Lipstick foil paper, which is alright, that's not quite right, which is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So it's just going to leave a little bit of a border. We have a piece of Whisper White, which is 3 15/16 by 5 7/16. And that's just because I wanted a little bit of a wider border, but I didn't want the whole 1/4 inch. We have another piece of Lovely Lipstick, which is 2 by 4 1/4, and another piece of Whisper White, which is 1 3/4 by 4 1/4, or by 4, excuse me. Okay, so let's get started. Let's stamp this piece first. Get that out of the way. So what we're going to do is take the Sentiment Make-A-Wish, the Memento black ink, and we are going to ink this up well. Just a little bit more. My ink pad's a little bit dry. I accidentally left it open. Okay, we're going to stamp that right in the center. Lovely. Okay, then we're going to take the doily. Close this Memento ink as we're done with it. Take the Lovely Lipstick ink. Oh, I have the hardest time opening some of these. why. And we're going to ink the doily, the small doily. And let me bring in a piece of scratch paper, because we're going to stamp off. And we're going to stamp off, stamp down here, stamp off, stamp over in here. Okay, so that's that piece, and we're done with this for now. Actually, let's bring in our card base. We might as well stamp the inside while we're at it. So with the memento, we're going to stamp the inside sentiment. And enjoy your day. Happy birthday. Oops, I just inked it in the red. Well, wash it off. Ink it in the memento. Let's see if we can get that centered in the front of our card here, or the center of our card. It's perfect. Okay, now we're going to take that doily again, and we're going to stamp it, ink off. Let's try that again, didn't look totally inked. There we go, and we're going to stamp it a couple times on the inside. Perfect. Okay, so that's the inside of our card done. We're done with that. We're done with both ink pads. Okay, now we're going to take, we might as well adhere this to the front of this card piece, and I'm using the Tombow Mono. Or Tombow Multi Glue, excuse me. And we're going to center it on this, what size is it again? 2 by 4 1/4 inch piece of the lovely lipstick foil paper, which was a free choice in the celebration. I believe it's sold out. I'd already designed this card before I knew that, but you can use any paper. I just like the looks of the foil paper behind the... Okay, so we'll place that aside. Now we're going to take the piece of Whisper White, which is 3 15/16 by 5 7/16, and we're going to take this doily die. We're going to center it in the top portion here, and it doesn't really matter exactly how it goes. Just put it up in there, and we're going to run that through the Big Shot. And I'm just going to do it off camera so I don't shake the camera. And I just ran it through once. My sandwich is my Big Shot platform, my thin die adapter, a cutting sandwich, the paper, the die, and another cutting plate. Check it and make sure. Yep, see, one passed through my machine. It cut out great. I'm going to bring in my die brush. I'm just going to run it across the back of it a little bit. Whoops. So I have a few of those that just want to stay snagged in there for some reason. Alright, clean that out, so that's all cleaned out. Where's the magnetic bowl? Well, I'll leave it over here. This is pretty much cleaned out. there's just one little piece there, a couple over here, poked out with my fingers. Okay, so that's what we need for there. Okay, so this piece is going to get glued on the center of this other foil piece, which is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And we're just going to go ahead and glue that. Try not to get too much glue around the doily part, because if it oozes out, you can't get it off the foil sheet like you can on a regular paper. You'll see in the center of this foil sheet there's like a smudge. It just leaves that cloudy residue even when you try to erase it. Okay, so that's centered on there. This piece is going to get popped up on dimensionals. I'm just going to put one in each corner and one in the center. Make sure I'm in frame here. That's going to go right here across there. For much of that bottom you want to leave. Don't stick yet. Alright. I think I'm going to mount this to the front of my card first. Take a little bit of the bowing out of it. It'll make it easier to stick the other piece on. Alright. And the doily part goes towards the top. There we go. Alright, now we can adhere this part. Now, for our sprig, we've got that other piece of, I've got a scrap piece of Whisper White. We're going to take the flower sprig. We're going to start, I'm going to start with the Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to do the greenery, the stem part. Just put a little bit of this on the stems, and just a tiny bit at the base of these leaves. Okay, then I'm going to take the Pear Pizzazz and I'm going to do the leaves. And it's alright if it picks up a little bit of the green from the stem, because it just adds another dimension to the color, and then we'll scribble off the marker afterwards. I actually pick up a little bit of that stem on purpose. Okay, then I'm just going to scribble that off. Okay, then I take the Melon Mambo, color in the flowers at the top with the Melon Mambo. Okay. And I take the Cherry Cobbler one, and I just do little dabs in the flowers. Don't want to overtake the Melon Mambo, but we want a little bit of dimension and darkness. They used to call that thumping, I think. Okay, then you're going to breathe on it and stamp it on our card base here, our piece of card. And you're going to do that however many times you want for your sprigs. Then we're going to take the die that matches it, Gonna line it up. I have some post-it tape on here. And I find if I line up the flowers at the top first, and then make sure that stem is centered in the bottom, it cuts out perfect. I'll run that through the Big Shot. Alright, pop that out. Put this die away. Put it with this other one so I don't lose it. Alright, now I'm going to bring in our card. This sprig gets laid right across there like that. I cut out a couple other ones because I was thinking I would like more of this sprig on here. I'm trying to decide if I want a couple to go underneath it. Like that. So those two would be glued down and this one popped up. I think that's what we'll do. Okay, so let's add some glue to the back of these. And just adhere them down where they are. This one's going to get the mini dimensionals on the back of the top of it. Whoops, the mini ones. There. The bottom of it's going to get the tombow. Not a lot because it's a very tiny piece. Pull these backs off. Oh, it's sticking to me. Let's do a little tombow on my fingernail. Okay. I'm going to put that on right about here. Awesome. Let's move it over just a hair if we can. Maybe we can't. There we go, I like that a little better. Okay, then we have the butterfly that we cut out. You can either glue it on the black and white, which I kind of like, or you can use the markers to color it in. I think for this one I'm just going to use it black and white, and I'm just going to use a little tombow on the back. Might actually need a little bit of a mini dimensional because it's hanging off the base a little bit more. Get it to go on there. Okay, there you go, and there's our card. You can add some bling. I added a little bit of bling to this one, but this one I'm not sure it needs it. There's the card we just did today. Here's the card I did previous. Well, thank you so much for joining me at my craft table. I hope you have a great rest of your day.